Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Kim with Kim's Inspired Life. And as you can see from the title of this video, I had a really upsetting week last week because I was almost scammed, but I had to deal with viruses on my laptop. And so I want to share this video with you because it was finalized today. I got a credit from a company, and I just want to give you some numbers, and I'm going to be putting some information either on the screen or in the description box so this doesn't happen to you. And it's ridiculous. So frustrating. All right, so let me tell you what happened. So about a week ago now, I started having some pop-ups on my laptop, and it was just a quick pop-up that just said, it says your laptop is being infected, you need to call Microsoft. And I thought, okay, well, I have McAfee on here. McAfee is one of those programs that you can buy, you pay for it for the year, and then it's on your laptop or it's on your device, and then it scans it for all of those bad things that are on there. Programs supposed to protect you from people that are trying to do what these people did, which is try to put a virus on my laptop. So anyway, so the pop-ups were coming up, and they were coming up last week. They were coming up just like, you know, they would come up maybe every hour and a half or so. So I would just click off of them and go away. Well, it got to the point, progressed to the point where they were coming up about every 2 minutes. I mean, I couldn't even hardly work on my laptop, do anything. And it said you need to call, they kept saying you need to call Microsoft, you need to call Microsoft. So finally on Thursday, I called Microsoft, and who I thought was Microsoft, and so I said, you know, I'm having these pop-ups on my computer, and he said, okay, well, okay, we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to download a certain type of software, and he asked me, you know, what the software that I had on there, the protector was, and I said McAfee. He said, okay, and he said, okay, we're going to, I'm going to walk you through this. It's going to take us probably a couple of hours, and I thought, a couple of hours? Okay, I don't have a couple of hours to spend with you trying to do this right now. Sophie was going to be coming over in a little while, so I said, you know, I'm gonna have to call you back tomorrow. Well, he did not want me to get off the phone, and I said, I have to. I said, you know, I have this other responsibility. I can't be on the phone with you right now. He said, well, we can call you back. And I said, no, I can call back tomorrow when I have a minute. And so I just hung up. I just had to hang up on him because he wanted to keep me on the phone. And I thought, well, that's kind of odd. I mean, thank you, Microsoft, for trying to be so diligent about my laptop, but you know, I don't have time right now. So then Friday, I don't have Sophie, and so I thought, okay, I'm going to call first thing in the morning. That Thursday, I had shut down my laptop. I don't always shut down my laptop. Sometimes I just put it into sleep mode, and then I just close the lid, put the lid down. So Friday, which is what I did. So Friday, I went to my office, and I put my lid up like this, and so the screen comes on, and there's a big message in the middle that says your laptop has been compromised, or you need to call Microsoft immediately, that you cannot use your laptop. And I tried clicking to click out of that. It wouldn't let me. So I thought, great. Okay, well, I'm going to have to call them anyway. So the number was an 855 number. And I thought, okay, I don't really know. I didn't look up, you know, that area code or where 855 was. And it really doesn't matter because scammers that want to, you know, that want to do something on your laptop are going to figure out, I mean, they're using our local area code now to try for us to answer our cell phones, right? To answer calls that we shouldn't be answering. So anyway, so I call the phone, I call the number, the 855, it was 855-397-5220, okay? It's a bad number. I'm just telling you so that if you see that number, it's not a good number. So, but I didn't know that when I first called the number. So I called the gentleman. I'm looking down here because I've written some notes. So he gave me his first and last. He said, I want you to take down all my information in case we just get disconnected. Okay. And because we were having a really hard time, I couldn't really hear him that well. And he kept saying, am I audible? Am I audible? And I kept saying yes. And so anyway, he gave me his first and last name. He gave me his badge number, supposedly. He gave me his extension. He gave me another number, a second number, which was 666. 869-248-2218. And he also gave me a secret password. He said, because if these, if someone tries to call you back, or you, we get disconnected and someone tries to call and say this was this number, no, you give all this information, and you're also going to need this, and you might need this information for something else as we progress through cleaning out, your laptop. I said, okay. And then he gives me a case number, 5-digit number, case number. I'm like, okay. So far it's sounding legit, right? Okay, so we're coming along. So then he has me download a software called UltraView. It's either UltraView or UltraViewer. Well, I've heard of UltraView before, and it is a legit software that helps people that work on computers, techies. It helps them to scan computers. So that was on the up and up. I'd heard about that before. I thought, okay, that's what Microsoft uses. So I download that, the black boxes come up on your screen that looks like, digital numbers and all that. And so he has me type in, this and that and everything. And then he says, well, I'm going to need to get remote access to your, to get to your computer. I really didn't like that, but then I thought, okay, I've only had my laptop a couple of years and I don't really have a lot on it, because I pretty much put everything in the cloud. It's and save everything, back up everything that way. So I thought, well, if he is, a scammer and he's trying to get into my laptop, there's not really a lot of stuff he's going to get on there. I don't save any passwords. I don't save any, I don't save my password in places that I go to when that little box that says, do you want to save your password? I never do. And so I figure if I can't remember it, or I don't, I have someplace in my house, I have a book that I do have some passwords and things written down. So anyway, so I thought, you know what, if I give him remote access to my laptop, which means he can see everything that I can see on my laptop, it's not going to be a big deal. So I go ahead and do that. So there's a password I have to give him. So now he can see what's on my laptop. Okay, that's fine. So the next thing you know, he's having me type in some information, and then at the bottom of the screen, I can see where it says something like poker.net or something, and also pornhub.net. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that's all about. Obviously, someone either has planted that on my laptop or, don't know where that came from. But he says to me, okay, well, you can see the screen down on the bottom. Read me what it says. I said, well, you can see it, right? You have remote access. He goes, I can see it, but I need you to go ahead and just read it to me because, we have I'm recording this call, and so I want everything to be able to be heard, and that we're seeing the same thing. So I said, okay, poker something.net, Pornhub something, and he says, okay, well, what that means is that someone that had access to your device, they've been to these sites. And I said, impossible. I said, that's not true. I said, I'm the only one that uses my laptop, and my grandkids have gotten on there a couple times to play a game. And he said, okay, well, I just want to tell you that, I'm not, I trust you. And in my mind, okay, my red flags are starting to go up, right? Because I'm thinking, one, I don't care if you trust me or not, because I know what sites we go to, what sites people in my household go to. And so I don't care if you trust me or not, that it was not something that that was generated from our household. So he says, he said, okay, well, I just want to let you know that, that this is, someone that has been on your device is going, and he said it like 2 or 3 times, and I said, okay, you know what, we need to just stick to the topic. We need to stick to getting the viruses off my laptop and finding out what's going on with it, because I can tell you right now, what you're telling me is not true. I said, there's nobody has had access that's gone to those sites on my computer. Then, okay, my red flags keep going up, because the next thing he says is, well, you understand what a big problem, especially in the United States, that child pornography or trafficking or something is. And I said, okay. And he says, and so, I want you to know that because I've seen this on your laptop, that I have to report this to your local police. And so they're going to be giving you a call. And when they do, he said, just go ahead and give them my information, tell them you've talked to me. And I said, okay. And I'm thinking, really? I'm thinking in my head, I'm thinking that he's trying to like scare me, or thinking he's scaring me, but I'm thinking you could, the local police department is going to come to my house because you're going to report to him that you saw this. They would be so busy, that wouldn't even be something that they would do and be able to have time to do. I said, because, and I don't need your badge number. I mean, so it was so ridiculous. So I thought, okay. And so he kept repeating it again. He kept repeating himself, like he wanted me to get riled up, or he wanted to, so by this time, again, my red flags are going up, and I'm thinking, this guy is an idiot. Microsoft, what does Microsoft have to do with that? I mean, and why would he say that? Okay, but by this time I'm thinking, okay, what is going on with this guy? Okay, he has access to my laptop. He's telling me all these ridiculous things about my laptop. I said, you know what? I finally told him, I said, you know what? We need to get back to finding the virus on my laptop. I said, okay. Oh, okay, let's do this. So he click, has me do this, has me, and then, all the time I'm seeing this black screen with all these, numbers and digits and everything, kind of going back and forth and everything. And so I'm thinking, something's being scanned, or he's, putting something, fixing something, or he's looking for something in my laptop. Okay. The next conversation, he says, well, okay, well, I just have to let you know that when people try to hack computers and they try to put viruses on your computer, it's because they're trying to get into your banking information, and they're going to try to get, people every day are getting their identity stolen, and they're getting money stolen out of their accounts. And I said, yeah, I understand that. I said, yes, I've heard of that. Like, have I been in a hole? Do I not hear that that's happening out in the world? And I said, yes, I understand that. And he kind of, again, repeated himself a few times, saying, how, trying to give me, statistics about how many times this has happened, and, in other countries and in America and all this. Okay. Obviously he's not calling from the United States. Okay. And he did have an accent. So I said, okay, yes. And he says, okay, so what we want to do is we want to check to make sure that none of your bank accounts have been compromised. So do you use this laptop to go into and do your banking on your, through your bank? And I said, sometimes. Well, I do, but I wasn't going to tell him that. So I said, yes, sometimes. And he said, okay, so what I want you to do is go ahead and why don't you go ahead and log into your bank account right now, so that you can check it and make sure there's not any, anything fraudulent that you can see. All right, that was it. I was done with him. You think that I'm going to log in while you have remote access to my laptop so that you can see my banking information? I'm like, okay, this is not Microsoft. And Kim, what the hell are you doing on the phone with him? So what I said, no, I don't need to do that. I said, you know what? My bank is about 2 minutes away from my house. I said, I can walk over there and I can have them check it. Well, you know what? Well, in the meantime, he says, whoever is trying to put a virus on your laptop could be having access to all of your information and whatever data. I said, you know what? You don't need to worry about my data. I said, you don't need to worry about my bank account. You don't need to worry about anything except trying to get this virus that supposedly you know how to do off my laptop. So is that going to happen? He says, okay, well, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and this, whatever is running on my laptop, he said, we're going to keep this running. And he said, and don't shut off your laptop for the next 3 hours. He said, because it's going to be running and it needs to run and it needs to, clean out all your system and this and that. He said, however, while it's running, I would suggest that you go ahead and log into your bank and check that out, even after we get off the phone. And I thought, okay, somehow you pegged me as a fool, because I'm not going to be doing that. I didn't say that, but I was thinking that. I just said, oh, really? Okay, that's what I need to do? I said, okay. I said, well, I'm not going to do that. And I said, and you were absolutely no help. Is that being recorded? And I clicked and I hung up. I shut off my laptop and I called this local place in town. It was about 11:30 a.m. my time. And I called this local place in town called Nerds on Call, and I told him what happened. He said, okay, tell me what happened. And so I told him that, about the pop-ups coming up and the phone number on there. And I gave him the phone number because I had written it down. He said, that's not Microsoft's number. And he said, plus Microsoft would not had you do this, this, and this. And I thought, well, I wasn't sure. I said, I've never had to call Microsoft for help before. And so he said, okay, but tell me, he said, then did you give him remote access to your computer? And I said, yes. And he goes, okay, did you log in or do anything with your bank? I said, no. He said, okay, thank goodness. He said, okay, your laptop shut off right now? I said, yes. He said, okay, can we have someone come out there? We can have someone come out there about 2 o'clock. I'm like, great. So he said, keep your laptop turned off. Anyway, so then the guy came over, as a young guy, probably in his 30s, early 30s. So he came in and the very first thing he did once he opened up my laptop and, and turned it on was that he turned off the internet signal, which I didn't think to do that, which I should have done that right away. And that would be my big advice first. If you feel like someone's getting access to your files or to your devices, to turn off your internet, because that's how they're getting through, obviously, which I kind of kicked myself for not thinking about that. But anyway, so he tried to turn the internet back on, but right away he goes in and he starts finding, what they were trying to do. He takes off that Ultra Viewer. He says that Ultra Viewer can be used for good purposes. He said, but a lot of times these scammers use it for not good purposes. So he took the Ultra Viewer off there. He asked me what type of software I was using to protect my computer. And I said, I pay for McAfee for the year. And he said, McAfee is terrible. Don't use it. He said, it's terrible. There's viruses all the time that get through on it. So I thought, great. And I don't remember the name of the one that he put on my computer, but I will put that in the description box below if I can go get it. And so he said there's about 5 out there that are really good. And I called one of my friends that she had a virus on her computer last year, and it was different from the one that she was using, but hers was also on the list of the 5 good ones that he said to use. So basically it took him probably about 15 minutes to wipe everything off my computer. He stayed for about another half hour because I was asking him a whole bunch of questions, and and so that was good. And he was kind of telling me what to do. He said if it happens again, I said, what happens if I start getting pop-ups again? He said, turn off the internet and call us. He said, because they're trying to get in again. He said, but with this new software that he put on there, he said, I doubt that's going to happen. He said it's a really good one. It's a strong one. He said a lot of businesses use it. The thing that bothers me is that the number looked legitimate. It looked like a number like I was calling Microsoft, and so he said, yeah. I said those pop-ups look like they were coming from Microsoft, and it said to call them for customer service. He said, yeah. He said, scammers are getting more savvy by the day, and he said, and they're going to try to do that. So I was just really frustrated, and so then he said, and I would also get my money back from McAfee. And I said, oh, I didn't think about that. So I called McAfee today, and I did get my $64.99 back from them, and wrote a review and told them that their products sucked, basically, and it didn't protect my laptop from a virus, and that they need to have better software in place to protect people. So anyway, the guy that came out told me that last week there was a gentleman that he serviced his laptop, but unfortunately he was scammed into paying them he was scammed into paying someone that called him $5,000 because he has a small business that he runs out of his house, and so he has a lot of data on his laptop, and they were basically holding his data for ransom, and until he paid $5,000, and he needed it for his business purposes and all of that. And but he said that's what happens. That's what they do all day long. Is they take phone calls from people, they go out to people's homes, they have people bring their laptops into them that basically have, people have gone through the internet and scamming. And he said there's people in other countries, specifically India, that have huge businesses and employ thousands of people, and that's what they do all day long, is they just sit around and they just try to scam people. And he said, and don't be surprised that if they try calling you on your cell phone. And I said, well, I don't answer my cell phone from any number that I don't recognize. And on my voicemail, it says that. It says, if I don't recognize your number, if you think I might not recognize your number, text me first, and then I'll give you a call back, or you can call me back, because they're these scammers just call incessantly. And I told the guy that came, I said, so when someone does that, and I know that it's if they text message, I hate when they text you, and I said I block it right away and I delete it. And he said, yeah, that's right. Perfect. He said, that's what you need to do. Just keep blocking. He said, it's not going to end. He said, that's their business. They're going to keep doing it. And it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating, but we have to be on the alert about it. And that's why I'm doing this video, is because there are some things that I learned from this experience, and I want to make sure that nobody that I know, this happens to you. And so that's it. That's all I wanted to say. And so guys, definitely, if you have any questions, let me know. I will certainly help if I can. If you have a story that I can learn from, then definitely let me know. All right, guys, talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.